Hello, everybody, and welcome to your favorite program, A Talk with Aduni, where we discuss important issues of life. My name is Omolola Adekoya. Today, I will be your host. Aduni herself she has to take a day off today, and I just want to ask that we all pray for her. Our guest today is Michael. Our guest today is Michael. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your last name, Michael. Can you please help?
Michael Amankwa.
You say what?
Michael Amankwa.
Michael Amankwa. Thank you so much. Michael Amankwa, from what I read about you, Lola really regard you highly. And I want to say thank you for joining us today. You reside in the US, if I'm correct, right?
I'm in Ghana now. I went to school and lived there for a while and then back in Ghana.
Oh, it's nice meeting you, Michael, if you don't mind me calling you Michael. Pleasure. And welcome to A Talk with Aduni. We're talking about, success story. That is what this episode is all about. And I was quite interesting when I read your profile. Like, wow, that's a very interesting personality, and I would like to meet him. And on today's program, I'm not the only one that would like to meet you. Everybody out there watching us right now on Facebook would also want to meet you. Would you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, I'm Ghanaian, full-blooded Ghanaian, full-blooded African. Schooled briefly in Ghana and then went to the US to do my undergrad and master's. Worked there for a while, set up businesses there, and then decided to come back home, which is not Ghana, but Africa. So I've been back since 2005, doing business in Ghana and some other African countries and Asia as well. And I also like to help people find meaning to their lives. So as I age, it's not about just chasing the Benjamins anymore. It's about how to make a difference in people's lives and how to help them find purpose and meaning. So when it's all said and done, I want to be able to touch lives in ways that, it's priceless. So basically, that's what I'm about.
I really appreciate the statements you make that as you age, it's not about pursuing the Benjamins anymore. It's about, having meaning in other people's life. Now, when you say I help people find meaning to their life, how do you mean?
So basically, first of all, there are certain core things that we need to have, with us as we live. And the first one is obviously, good health. When you're not of good health, everything else is secondary, right? If you're not healthy, you're sick and all the time go to the hospital, you're bedridden, then whatever dreams and aspirations you have, it's going to be very difficult to fulfill them. Definitely. So it's very, very important that we take care of our physical health, which is very, very important. So I always encourage people to obviously, walk, let's say 5,000, 10,000 steps a day, stuff like that. You have to be mindful and you got to put in some work, you got to sweat, so that's the first one. The second one is obviously, we didn't come on this earth by chance, it's being somewhere that put us here. So you want to make sure that you're in tune with your maker at all times. And, you're making sure that you're taking care of your spirituality, in the morning, doing your morning devotion, things like that. And then also you want to make sure that you're in check with your emotions largely, because what happens is that a lot of people burn bridges just because they are not aware of the power of their emotions. So when one is angry, they don't even know how to act, and they act in ways that destroys relationships and things like that. People are not able to use emotional intelligence properly to really, interact with people that matter to them and things like that. So their core, I call them the 4 core wheels. Yeah. So your physical health is one, physical fitness is one, your spirituality, your emotions, and I think there's another one. Yeah. So all of these 4 pillars, you want to make sure at any point in time you're in tune with them. So once you figure them out, then anything else you set out to do becomes a lot easier because you're already well prepared and you're aligned for what you want to do. But a lot of times we don't know, so we just take them for granted. So we may take spirituality so well, we're going to church every evening, every morning, praying, doing all the things, but we are not taking care of our health, we're not taking care of our emotions, stuff like that. So I try to always have conversations with people and figure out where they are and then let them know that, okay, if you're not doing this, it's something to consider, it's something to do.
mm, mm. Wow, wow. That's really interesting. Like I watch some movies and they say if you have not said wow, 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 it's not interesting. So I have to say wow, wow, wow.
Thank you,
That's
thank you.
that's that's really interesting. Thank you so much for those nuggets. And I really believe in those core values. Personally, they are really interested. I mean, they're really important. Now, I want you to tell us more about yourself. I read that you went to school, you schooled at Madison University. You have your BA in business management, and then you have your master's in information technology and telecommunication. So tell us how you started that journey. How do you know this is what I want to do when I grow up, or this is what I want to study in school?
Well, I mean, I did my primary school and secondary school in Ghana, and when I finished my A levels, I realized that, I've always been ambitious. I've always wanted to do big things. I've always wanted to transform and contribute a lot to, the Black race and then also Africa as a whole. And I knew that if I had to do that, I had to be where the power was, the number one superpower in the world, which is obviously America, no pun intended to other countries, but at the time, we all knew it was America. So I said to myself, well, if I want to have the best education, the best chances of entrepreneurship, learning and, challenging myself, then I had to be in America. So that's what got me into America, where I started with my undergrad, which was basically business administration, accounting option. So I did that for 4 years. And then from there, went to work for one of the top consulting firms, Booz Allen and Hamilton Technology, as a technology consultant. Then I enrolled in Johns Hopkins University, because at that point I realized that, look, to transform, to make big things happen, it's about technology. So today we are talking about Elon Musk trying to go to Mars, the electric vehicles and all of those things. At the core of all of these things are technology. So I also realized that, look, if you really wanted to transform and, change civilization and move things forward, at the core of it is going to be smart and relevant technology. So then at that point, having the business education, under my belt, I figured that, look, the next thing to complement that was obviously technology. And Johns Hopkins University obviously is a top school. So I went in there to master in information communications technology and telecommunication systems. So when I coupled the two, and they're very complementary. So it helps me understand, business as a whole. It helps me understand technology. It helps me understand innovation, inventions, and things like that. So when I was going in 95, I told myself I was going to do 10 years. So I actually did 10 years and then came back home. And the things I went there to do, I did all of them within the 10 years. To get undergrad, get masters, work, set up businesses. And so I did all of that, and I decided to come back home, which is not Ghana, but Africa. Obviously, because I'm Ghanaian, I'm domiciled in Ghana, but I've done things in Nigeria, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Gambia, Congo, you name it, India. I've been around, but that is when you are young and you're hungry and you're determined and you want to be a billionaire and all of that. But as you age, you realize that there's more meaning to life. There's more meaning to life. There are things that you just want to put smiles on people's faces. You want to give people hope. You want to give people encouragement. You want to let them know that, no matter how bad your day is, that is not the end of the world. You can make it, So I've dedicated the rest of my natural life to serving people, not chasing, the big things I used to dream of when I was a lot younger and I didn't know better. So it's not like it's bad to dream and chase those things, but in life, there are phases, right? So, I'm 51 now. So and if God has given us 70, it means I have like 19 left, right? So now how am I going to use my 19? I want to make sure that I use it meaningfully and purposefully and in a more fulfilling way. You understand? So that's what basically I'm about.
Please don't tell anyone.
You
don't look it. You don't look it at all. But that's I not only co-host or host on the show, but I also learn a lot from everybody, and I appreciate your journey. But I want to ask this particular question: at what stage in your life did you really decided to start initiating these core values of good health, fitness, spirituality, and emotional intelligence into every aspect of your life?
I think
because I know you just didn't start it all over. It takes process.
You kind of hear about them, but we don't take them seriously. So, you always know that physical health, good, being of good health is important. But a lot of times we don't understand what it means. You hear it, you hear people talk about it, you have an understanding of what it is, but you don't truly understand the import and the power of it. So when I turned 50, I did reflections at 50, which meant that I decided to reflect upon my life. That, if the past 50 years, how has it been? What was I good at? What wasn't I good at? Now, if my last chapter, which is, the next 2 decades.
The next 50.
Yes, I mean, if I'm lucky, and I pray that he gives me more, but, if I have, 2 more left, then how do I want to live that? And what are the things that I need to do right to live it well? And that is where now I started understanding why it's important for me to be of physical health, right? Good physical health is important for me to leverage emotional intelligence at all times, make sure that I'm in tune with my maker, and also mindset. And mindset is basically about reading. So last year I read like 54 books. This year my target is 60 books, and I don't do these things alone. I do them with, we call them the catalysts, people who are part of my mental catalyst, movement, right? So we read together, we walk together, we share, lessons and challenges and things like that. We support each other and things like that. And it's through that I got to meet I got to meet her. And so it was when I turned 50. So after that, what I do is on a daily basis, I also do reflections and introspections. How was my day? How did my day go? And also I have a plan for my day. So I evaluate at the end of the day, what were the things that I did, what didn't do well? How do I do them better going forward? So it's basically about habits, and a lot of times I always say success is a choice. We can all succeed, but you can only succeed when you choose to succeed. And to choose to succeed, you have to do things, consistently. You have to do things religiously as a ritual. You can't do something today, tomorrow you stop, then you slack, and then you come back, and you can't do that. You have to be consistent, and that is where discipline comes in, and that's where most of us fall short. We are not disciplined. We desire things, but we are not disciplined. You understand? And then also the mindset is everything. Mindset is everything, So, but how do you get the right mindset? I always say it's about reading, so feeding your mind. All the things we want to do have been done one way or the other by, millions of people out, who have lived before us, and they've documented these things over the years, and, but you find these things in the books. So it's important that, we read. And when you're reading, yes, you can just decide to read anything, but you want to read books in line with your objectives, your goals, your dreams, so that way you're better equipped. But a lot of times we make decisions based on I feel, I think, I feel, but there's no substance behind it. There's no formula behind it. There's no rationale behind the decisions we make. And then we fail, and then we give up, and then, we start thinking it's witchcraft, and it is, your family people who are, trying to destroy you and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's our own doing. So I always tell people, success is a choice. You choose to succeed. You have to put in the time. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. But it took me 50 years, for me to realize that, I have to consciously decide and accept and be willing to put in the time. And no matter how many times I fall, I can't stay down. And also, and failure is part of the process. And a lot of times as Africans, our culture does not entertain and embrace failure. So the moment you attempt something, you fail, then it's like, you're just useless. You're dumb. You're good for nothing and all of that, which puts fear into people to bear. But failure is when you quit. But failing is when you go at it, it doesn't work, and you keep going, going. So the process of failing is what leads to what ultimate success. So this, I think that the youth, and we adults have to know that when somebody, doesn't hit the first time, the second time, the third time, it doesn't mean that that's the end of the road. It doesn't mean that, they are lost case. You get it? So the process of failing is very, very important, and something we need to always embrace and talk about. Failure is when you try and you just it didn't work and you stop. So when you quit, you've lost. But when you get up again and you go at it, trust me, there's no way you will not succeed. You will succeed. And these are the kind of conversations that we need to have.
Wow. I have to put that part in it. I hear you, in the process of talking, you did mention consistency and discipline. And I know that a lot of us, a lot of youth may be listening out there. And I do know that I struggle with being consistent. Sometimes I start some things and I just feel like, okay, maybe because I have so many things on my plate, I just feel like, okay, I'll get to it later. And I know sometimes a lot of youth out there, they see failure as the bastard, and personally, I don't see failure as that. When you fall, to me, I see it as that is an opportunity for you to do it again. And I know there is a saying that says that doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is failure. It doesn't work. So how do you perceive that? How can you encourage youth out there to be consistent? Is there any way that we can help youth to stay focused consistently to develop that discipline?
I think for me, the fundamental thing is, first of all, whatever goal you have has to be like humongous, has to be like massive, it has to be like out of this world, because that's what gets you out of bed. But if your dreams and aspirations are just like basically nothing, then you don't really have any motivation, right? You don't really have any motivation. So whatever, as a human being, you need to have, like huge, massive, insane goals and ambitions, right? So once you have that, and you know that, what you have is so huge that, and you also know that, look, when it works, the payoff is massive, right? The payoff is massive. So let's say I want to impact, excuse me, I want to impact the lives of 1 billion people over the world in the next 20 years. Now, with such an ambitious target, I don't have time to slack, because 1 billion people all over, Chinese, Indians, Ghanaians, Nigerians, Cameroonians, whatever, 1 billion people all over in the next 20 years. Yes. That means I have a humongous task. So what it means is that now I have to also ensure that my time, which is the most precious, non-renewable resource, I use it wisely. You have only 24 hours in a day. So you want to make sure that your 24 hours, you know how you're using it at any point in time.
We don't even have 24 hours, if I may say.
We don't, because you sleep like 8, 7 and a half.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So I'm just, even if you have the 24 and you can even stay up, there's a limit to it. And what you lose never comes back. So first of all, your goal has to be like massive, whereby you derive motivation from it. 2, you need to understand that there are certain things you have to do to ensure that you are able to, pursue that goal. That's why I talk about the 4 P's, your mindset, which is obviously reading, feeding it. Because when you don't feed your mind, and I always tell my friends, back in the West, when you're in the train, you're in the bus, and you see, the Caucasians and the Black people, you will see Black people, they're listening to music, or they're on social media. The Caucasians, largely, they're reading newspapers, or they are doing what? Reading. So it's basically about mindset, feeding your mind, ability to do what? Use your mind to imagine. So knowledge is okay, but imagination is bigger and more powerful than that, right? So I'm just giving you the building blocks that leads to consistency. So now when you are reading, you're feeling your mind and all of that. So no matter what challenge you encounter, you know that, because you are reading and all of that, you know that there's a way to overcome that challenge, right? And secondly, the more you read, the more you realize that, whatever dreams you have, it's also possible to achieve, because you're learning a lot, you're re-strategizing as the days go by, because life is dynamic, things change, right? So that keeps you going. Then you also know, obviously, that look, you have to be healthy, because if you're not healthy, that big dream that you have is in the gutter, right? It's in the gutter. So those 4, and spirituality, because a lot of times you're like, you know what, I don't know what to do anymore. This one, I need God's favor, man. I need God's favor. And what I've realized is that there is power. He's there. He's there. He's there. I can't deny it. I'm not trying to be religious here, but I can't deny it. You don't have to be the church going time, and all of those things, but you need to have your relationship with him. I always tell my friends, I have my 1-minute prayer. I tell him, look, sort me out, man. And I have a contract to him. And I talk to him like he's my buddy. And when he's doing the magic, I see it. So when I see it, and I just smile, because I know, look, that's him, that's Baba doing the thing. You understand? So you can't deny it. So that is why, when we do things, you want to do things for humanity. A lot of times, young people are doing things because of status. I want to have the latest Range Rover, the biggest house, and all of those things. It's nice to have, but those things are not truly fulfilling. But when you get somebody to smile, you get somebody to wake up and get up and change their lives and try to do things that normally they wouldn't do, that sense of fulfillment is priceless. It's priceless. Because at the end of the day, how many houses can you sleep? How many houses can you sleep in? How many
Even
cars
the
can you
house,
buy?
how many
How much
bedrooms can
food?
you sleep in?
Yes, how much food can you eat? How many women can you date? I mean, so so as you grow, you become wiser. But when you're reading and you're actually reflecting and introspecting and having the right conversations, you realize that you're beginning to what? Get wiser and smarter. And that also helps you sit at the table of winners. Because circle of friends are very important. You want to always be in the right circle of friends, whereby those people are also motivating and inspiring you, right? Like they say, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong place. So you don't want to always be feeling like, I'm the guy in the room and everybody else is following me and all of that. No, then you're in the wrong place. You always want to have people who are a lot better than you. But culturally, when we find ourselves in situations where people are smarter and better than us, then we get intimidated. But we shouldn't, because everybody's blessing and favor is different.
It's different, yeah.
It's different. So that is when you're in tune with your maker, you understand that, look, the way he has blessed you and what he's giving you is different from somebody else's. So don't be selfish, don't envy it. Be grateful for them, support them when you can, because when your time comes, angels will come and also help you out. So trying to be consistent, you need to have this kind of mindset, this kind of approach towards life, knowing that what I want to do is not for me, but for humanity, and not just those who are born, but those who are yet to be born. So when you find yourself in that element, you realize that, look, no matter the obstacles you face, no matter how hungry you are, no matter how you can see the light at the end of the tunnel and all of that, you just have this hope that tells you that, you know what, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. And also you have to plan. Right, you can. I mean, if a plane takes off and doesn't have a flight plan, there's no way it will get to this destination. It's going to fall out of the sky. And a lot of us, we wake up in the morning and we just have vague plans. No, you have to plan. You have to plan. You have to write the things down. What do I want to do? These are the things I want to do. When do I need to do them by? What are the resources that I need? Who are the people that I need, to help me along with? So you have to be serious about life. A lot of us are not serious about life. We pretend we are, but genuinely we are not. Because if you are, it will reflect in your actions. My club, we wake up at 5 in the morning. We go and walk at 5 a.m. We go and walk. You understand? We walk and on Saturdays we all converge, and then we go and walk for like 3 hours. 3 hours. And we do this religiously. And the more we do it, all of us are beginning to realize that, it's helping us. It's helping us. So people who have high blood pressure are beginning to realize that, oh my goodness, my pressure is reducing. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm feeling more active. I'm feeling more stronger. I'm feeling more positive. So these fundamental things are things that ancient Asian people have practiced in Asia and all. They've practiced these things and they've written about them. So why won't we also learn and then adopt them and use them so that we can advance, whatever courses, we pursue. So success is truly a choice. It's not about where you come from. So somebody may look at me and say, oh, I was privileged. I went to America, and all of those things. Or somebody's from there. It's not about that. Once you're on earth, you have an equal chance as everybody else. It is what you decide to do. Yes, some people may have a little bit easy because of certain things they may have around them, but it doesn't mean that you cannot be better off than them. And life is not about competition. No. Life is not about competition. Everybody's time zone is different. Yeah. Just know that, look, when your time has come, it has come. Yeah. But until it comes, just keep on preparing. And when your time has come, it is there. But when you're not prepared and it comes, you will not be ready and you'll miss opportunity.
Yes. I really, honestly, you dived into so many questions that I would have asked, and I appreciate the fact that you did mention something. I know in the past people say, and they still say, that behind every successful man, there is a woman. But I changed my orientation. Behind every successful person, it's a bigger person. And that bigger person is the Oga above, the Oga on top, up there, and it's okay, you're not being all religious, and people have to understand spirituality when it comes to you having that discipline and staying focused in life. And I really do appreciate you mentioning that. I want you to tell us what you do now to help people find meanings to their life. I know some of it is your club that you did mention, that you guys walk like every 3 hours every weekend. And what other things do you do, and how as our culture, the African culture, how has it helped improve or decline?
For me, the first important thing is I always encourage people to read. So when you meet me for the first time, I'll ask you, what books are you reading? What have you read? You ask people and you're like, oh, I've not read a book in 2 years, 3 years, 4, 5 years. I'm like, are you serious? You know, so if in 90 days you've not read a book, for me, it's a red flag. If you are, you know, I'm going to employ you and you come for an interview and I ask you and you've not read, that means it's a red flag, right? Because when you are not feeding your mind, you're not in the game of life. You are not. You are not. You have to feed your mind. The things we study in school are already obsolete. They are kicked, they are gone.
Yeah.
They are gone, they are gone, they are useless. Largely, they are gone, right? And most of the time, you don't even get to use 90-something% of them, right? So you want
They
to
review the books every year.
Every year, you know, in America, every semester, the same subject, there's a whole new book or there's an upgrade of the book and all of those things. It's only in Africa that, you know, a book can be used for 10 years, you know, stuff like that. So the first thing is basically knowledge. You want to always be in the habit of acquiring knowledge, because when you start having the knowledge, then your imagination, you know, imaginative skills starts developing. And that is where big things happen. Being able to be imaginative. So when I meet people, I'm always, the first thing I'll do is, what are you reading? Then I have some books that I recommend and I'll push them to you. So some people will read them. So like, I don't know, said she's read 29 books 29. Already. Yeah, 29 books, like 50 or whatever it is. For me, such things are like, it just makes me sleep better at night, because I know that what she's doing, you know, she's going to touch lives that I will have no idea even who those people are. And I don't need to know who they are. My job is to just make sure that whoever I encounter, I touch them in ways that, you know, allows them to, you know, improve and be better, and then also carry it on. So when we all keep on rolling, then, you know, that effect, you know, takes place. And then, you know, our societies and our communities and things all start improving. So for me, the first thing is reading. When I meet you, reading. And the second one that I talk about a lot, I mean, for the spirituality, the churches do all of those things. So our people, to a large extent, think of that. But the second one is leveraging emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence, look, sometimes when you find yourself in the position of power, you know, and as Africans, yeah, we abuse it. The way they talk to their subordinates, their employees, and all of those things. You don't do that. You don't do that. Emotional intelligence, always look out for the person. Try to understand where they are coming from. Why are they feeling the way they are feeling? Why are they talking the way they are talking? It's not about, I am the guy, I'm the big man, I'm the one paying your bills, doing all of, no. Try to understand. And I think that if we're able to leverage emotional intelligence well, collectively as a people, we'll get far. A lot of the conflicts we have is because we don't leverage emotional intelligence. We are selfish. We just think about ourselves. We think somebody has wronged us and all of that, without taking time to understand where the person is coming from. Right, where the person is coming from. And so emotional intelligence is something we can, and in our culture, it's unspoken. It's unspoken. You know, you hardly hear people talk about using emotional intelligence. You're always thinking about yourself. We are being selfish, but it doesn't work. And you can't go far when you don't have people willing to take bullets for you, to stick with you, put their dreams on, you know, on hold, and, you know, and support your vision. So you can only do that through emotional intelligence, which ultimately leads to what? Unconditional love and compassionate love. Because when you don't love people, you're not going to get the best out of them. But when somebody loves you genuinely, they will watch out for whatever efforts you're trying to do, whatever, you know, you have, that's your assets and love, and they'll protect you. You understand? So a lot of times we think that, you know, we get it wrong by thinking that when people fear us, you know, they're saluting you and doing all of those things, then, you know, no, it's not that. That is pretense. That's pretense. You want the person, you know, so a lot of times when I go to places, people are like, is this the Michael guy? No, it can't be him, because of how I will carry myself, right? And how I will talk and how, you know, because my confidence is not in the outward, you know, appearance. Yes. It's in my head.
Yes.
You understand? It's in my head, and my conviction and my faith in my maker. That's my confidence. And my confidence is such that I would say it's strong. It's very powerful, because I need to be confident. And, you know, all the people that have done big things that we admire, they didn't do them in timidity. Yes. They're very confident people. But culturally, the moment you're confident, people have an issue with you because, you know, you're abrasive, you know, you stand for whatever. And I'm not saying, you know, be in people's faces and all of that, but if you want to do big things, change our societies and stuff like that, you have to be confident. You have to be confident.
So I have to be time conscious. I have about 6 minutes left, but what do you do now in Africa? What is your business line, and how do you encourage people to be involved in what you do?
Yeah, so I mean, basically, as an entrepreneur, I mean, a technology entrepreneur, I do things, I do solutions in the healthcare space. So what I'm trying to do is to help people have an idea of their health status at any point in time, so that before you develop or whatever disease you get becomes more complicated and all of that, you have an idea. A lot of us don't really know the status of our health until we are sick. We go to a hospital, they run tests, then they're like, oh my goodness, this is going bad, it's gone bad. And at that point, it's very difficult they have to just manage, you understand? But a lot of times before you start, you get serious ailments, there are signs of it, but because our immune systems are strong to a large extent, they fight it. So what we're trying to do is we are building solutions that allows people to know their health status at any point in time. Okay, so that's one of the solutions that we are doing. And this is all geared towards me giving back to humanity, right? That if you're there, you're able to, and not only do we detect what's wrong with you before it even really happens, the solution is also ready, waiting for you. Okay, so we are talking about serious artificial intelligence kind of stuff, right? Then the second thing we're working on is obviously a connected car. Most of us now, we have cars, but we just sit in the car in the morning and we drive and we go and all of that. And, and a car is an expensive asset to have, right? If you don't drive well in your car, you can get into an accident. So we're building solutions that, tells people how well they are driving, which is their driver behavior. We are also looking at, how we are able to tell you the health of your car, so that before something goes wrong with your car, you already know. A lot of times, sometimes you start your car in the morning and it won't start because your battery has run down. But before your battery runs down, it's been degrading, right? So we are able to analyze that and tell you that, what, at this rate, your battery is likely to run down in the next 3 days or 4 days, and therefore you can actually get one here at this price and things like that. Okay, so we have a connected car solution, we have the health solution, and then we have the vitality. So the vitality is vitality and wellness is to help, companies use it to, motivate their employees and their customers to live healthy lives. So walk 5,000 steps a day, make sure you're doing your physicals. And once you're doing that, they give you some rewards and things like that. So all the things I'm doing now is all geared towards my big dream of impacting the lives of 1 billion people.
Thank you so much. Michael.
Amankwa.
Don't tell me. I want to try to pronounce it myself. I will pronounce it myself. Michael. Okay, now I give it.
Amankwa.
Michael Amanko, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming live with us today, and I hope we will see you again sometime.
I'm always here for you guys.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
I'm very proud of you guys, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be here and seeing Adonai come this far. I've been watching her, I've been listening and all of that. And to everybody that supports what you guys are doing, what you have done today, trust me, this is divine. And this is what life is really about. So guys, keep at it and don't stop.
Thank you so much for coming, and we appreciate you. And for everybody out there, you have heard it from the man himself. You have to have core values, which is good health, fitness, spirituality, and emotional intelligence. How is your emotions? How is your mental health? I am from a mental health perspective, and I know that once you have a cognitive distortion or mental health issue somewhere, it affects every part of our lives. So please, people out there, check out for your emotions. Go to see your doctor. Make sure you keep fit, and have a goal that is bigger than you, a goal that you believe you would achieve. And don't forget to always read. And until then, I will see you guys next month. And next month, we will be doing something different. It could, if Adonai allows it, a mother's burden. I am in the US, and what it entails for mothers, African-American mothers or Nigerian-American women raising multicultural children in our society here in America. And I'm sure Michael had some experiences too, that he would agree that it is a struggle raising children in the United States of America. Until we see you sometime next month, have fun, keep fit, remember spirituality, read, and your mental health is very important. Take care, and thank you again for coming, Michael.
Bye-bye.
Bye.